Welcome to the 2019 AMSOIL Engine Master Challenge presented by JE Pistons. I'm Kendra Summer.
And I'm Tom McCann from Hot Rod Magazine. And get ready, it's going to be one hell of a week.
Once again, the Engine Master Challenge is being held at JE Pistons, and all the action is playing out in their R&D area and on the company's research dyno. It's a crowd that the company loves to host.
It's our people, it's engine builders, it's guys that are making horsepower. So we've been able to get them in our building, get them, around the shop, see what we do. This is our house, and this is how we do things.
There were two classes in this year's competition: Early Iron for engines made in 1968 and earlier, and the Extreme LS class for modern power plants. First up, let's take a look at what happened in Early Iron.
One of the most familiar names here is that of John Causey. But this year, the traditionally blue oval campaigner showed up with an orange bow tie in the form of a modified 396 big block.
Right off the bat, John's engine made the most power in Early Iron, but the numbers were far below what he was expecting. The look on John's face told us something wasn't right.
It was way off from where I thought it should have been, and it was way off on power from home, like 60 or 70 horsepower down, and I'm not really sure why. I thought maybe something was wrong, but I was basically just going for, I was trying to find something that I was missing because it was so far off. 2/3 of the way through the first dyno pull, my whole year pretty well went south, for working on this engine. I knew I wasn't going to beat anybody with it.
Competitor Daniel Boucher did not even get a chance to test his entry at home. When parts he wanted did not show up, he made them from old internals he had laying around the shop. That forced him to stay up for 3 days and nights straight to get his engine together. And then he loaded it all up and drove straight to the event.
At the end of the day, it's not so much what you can do, it's what you can get away with sometimes in engine building. It's like, I know this might not be the grade A choice, but this will work. It's got to do the job, and we have to get here on time. And I got here on time, finally, once. I did sleep, but I got here on time.
Hands down, the most unique Early Iron engine came from Dave Molnar with his 310 cubic inch Studebaker that rang up almost 400 horsepower on the dyno. Not bad for a power plant that would barely make 200 horsepower stock.
I'm from South Bend originally, and I grew up on Studebakers, and Studebakers were built for durability, and it's certainly durable. We ran it at 6,800 RPM, and it wants to do more.
Another moniker known for big torque, but not necessarily big top-end power, is Pontiac. But that did not keep Michael Simchi from pulling the bullet from under the hood of his own street car just for the fun of competing.
I'm usually the only Pontiac, and it's nice to talk to people with other engines and other things that they do. We are at a disadvantage, and I did not port these heads. We could have gotten more out of it, but we just didn't have a lot of time, and we knew we wouldn't be super competitive. So we just figured, we'll just bring my street GTO motor and have a good time with it.
One super competitive engine came in the form of a small block Ford that was a challenging build for Jeff Mummert. His 296 posted an impressive 446 horsepower at 7,000 plus RPM using a rare vintage ignition system.
These old single chip boxes, they're not easy to find. So we had to make a few calls and go drive an hour to get this one, then put it on a run stand on Saturday, get it running, check the timing. It just wouldn't end. Every time we tried to go, it's gonna be done. It's gonna be done. It just wasn't done.
One dominant competitor that has been absent from the competition for several years is Blair Patrick. Blair's return was prompted by his liking of the rules for this year's challenge, but the work was slow. And after spending 9 whole days grinding a single intake and exhaust port to perfection, Blair turned to a CNC machine to finish the job.
We make a port we like, and then we go in and digitize that port so that it's repeatable, and then we put that port throughout the whole head, intake and exhaust. So the use of the CNC drastically helps on the work part of it.
Blair's approach paid off as he posted a total score of 2,511 points after his runs, enough to take the win in Early Iron.
Switching to the modern LS3 engine competition, there were 2 teams with ties to the engine building school, Samtech. Up first, the Samtech team was led by Sean Hooper. With school founder Judson Massengill overseeing the entry, it was an engine built by the Samtech students.
We kind of used it as a learning experience of how to size a cylinder head, how to pick out the parts for a cylinder head. We took it over to our CNC department, digitized it, wrote the whole program, cut cut the cylinder heads, right? All done as a learning experience at the school for the student.
Speaking of students, the school's competition was an entry put together by former Samtech students led by Justin McClendon, who is an instructor at the school. Judson is so adamant about the competition and encouraging his students to flourish, he actually gave time off to Justin to finish his engine.
2 weeks before the competition, he told me to go. He said, don't go to work. He tells me, he said, Justin, do you have a curriculum in a binder? He said, do you have a way that I can send someone to your classroom and teach what they need to? Yes, sir. Then what are you worried about? Just go already. And so when you have someone like Judson Madison go tell you that, how in the blazes can you say no?
While the school's official entry performed flawlessly, the former student's Midget Motorsports Bullet unfortunately had a cylinder that refused to light, handing the LS3 title to Sean and his team.
So that's how it all went down. Congratulations to Blair Patrick and Samtech for their wins.
And for more information on this event, make sure to head on over to hotrod.com.
For Kendra and I, thank you very much for watching.
2019 Engine Master Challenge is brought to you by Sunoco Race Fuels, Superflow, Scat Enterprises, ARP, E3 Spark Plugs, Duralast Pro Power, Racing Electronics, Rottler Manufacturing, and Samtech.